My friends, my comrades, my heart aches to share with you a chapter of my life that burned with purpose and pain. In the early 1960s, South Africa, our beloved land, was shackled by the chains of Apartheid system that crushed the dignity of millions because of the color of their skin. I, Nelson Mandela, stood at a crossroads. Could I continue to preach peace when our cries were met with bullets? This is my story of founding Umkhonto Sizwe, the spear of the nation, and leading a campaign of sabotage to shake the foundations of injustice. It is a tale of struggle, sacrifice, and the unyielding belief that freedom is worth fighting for. In my younger years, I walked the dusty paths of Qunu, a boy named Rolithlala, dreaming of a just world. By the 1950s, I was a lawyer, a husband, a father, and a leader in the African National Congress, our movement to reclaim our rights. We tried peace marches, boycotts, the Defiance Campaign of 1952, where we filled jails with our defiance of unjust laws. But the Apartheid government answered with cruelty. In 1960, at Sharpeville, I saw the blood of 69 innocents stain the earth, shot for daring to protest the past laws that chained us to oppression. The government banned the ANC, forced us underground, and made it clear they would not listen to our words. I sat with my comrades Walter Sisulu, Oliver Tambo, and others, and my heart grew heavy. Nonviolence, our noble path, was failing us. The regime thrived on our suffering. I said to them, there comes a time when a people must fight, or they will cease to exist. I felt the weight of those words, knowing they could lead us to a dangerous road. Yet, I could not sit idle while my people were crushed. I proposed a new way, armed resistance not to kill, but to disrupt the machine of apartheid. In 1961, I stood before the ANC leaders, my voice steady but my soul wrestling with the choice. Some, like Chief Albert Luthuli, our president, believed peace was still possible. Others saw what I saw, a government that understood only force. After long, heated debates, we agreed to form a separate arm for this fight, to shield the ANC name. Thus, Umkhonto Sizwe MK, the Spear of the Nation, was born in June 1961. I was chosen as its commander-in-chief, a role I accepted not with pride, but with resolve. I worked with brave souls like Joe Slovo, a fierce ally from the Communist Party, and others who shared my fire. We planned carefully, studying struggles in Algeria, reading of guerrilla fighters, learning how to strike without losing our humanity. Our aim was sabotage targeting power lines, railways, government office symbols of apartheid's control. I insisted no lives must be taken. Our fight was for freedom, not vengeance. On December 16, 1961, a day of historical weight for our people, MK struck. Bombs lit up the night in Johannesburg, Durban, and Port Elizabeth, shattering the silence of oppression. No one was hurt, but the message was clear: we would not submit. Leading MK meant living in the shadows. I became the Black Pimpernel, slipping through South Africa in disguise as a chauffeur, a laborer evading the police who hunted me. I met recruits in secret, trained them in small groups, and raised funds to keep our fight alive. Every moment carried risk. Every meeting could be my last. Yet I felt the pulse of our people's hope. In 1962, I left South Africa, crossing borders to seek allies. In Ethiopia and Algeria, I trained in the art of warfare, learning to handle weapons and plan strategy. In London, I met those who stood with us, their support a spark in the darkness. Back home, MK grew bolder. By 1963, we had carried out over 200 acts of sabotage, past offices burned, railway lines broken. Each strike was a cry: we are here and we will not be silenced. But mistakes happened. Some explosions caused injuries, and I grieved for every unintended harm. The world began to notice, but not all saw us as heroes. The government called us terrorists. The United States and others, fearing our ties to communists, turned away. Yet nations like Tanzania and Zambia opened their arms, giving us hope. My time with MK was cut short in August 1962. I was driving in Natal, disguised, when the police stopped me. An informant had betrayed me. They took me, and I felt the way to failure not for myself, but for those I led. In 1963, a raid on Lillisleaf Farm, our secret base, uncovered M.K. plans. My comrades Walter, Govan Mbeki, and others were arrested. At the Rivonia trial, we faced death or life in prison. Standing in the dock in 1964, I spoke from my heart. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society. It is an ideal for which I am prepared to die. I meant every word. The judge spared us the gallows but sentenced us to life. On Robben Island, I was locked away, my role in MK over. The movement stumbled without us, but others carried the spear forward. MK fight continued in exile, growing into guerrilla warfare, a path I could no longer walk. My part in the armed struggle ended, but its spirit lived on, a fire that helped burn down apartheid. Founding MK was the hardest choice of my life. I knew it would bring suffering, arrests, deaths, the terrorist label that followed me. Yet I saw no other way. Our sabotage woke the world to our struggle, showed the regime we would not bow, and gave our people courage. Critics called us reckless, and I understand their fear, but I ask, what do you do when your children starve, your brothers are beaten, and your voice is silenced? For me, MK was our answer, a disciplined cry for justice. My journey with Umkhonto, Sizwe began in the ashes of Sharpeville, grew through the fires of sabotage, and ended in the cold of a prison cell. It was a path of sacrifice, born from love for my people and faith in a free South Africa. As I look back, I see not just the bombs we set or the risks we took, but the hope we planted. My story with MK teaches you this. When injustice chokes your land, you must find the courage to act, even when the world calls you wrong. Fight with purpose, with discipline, and with love for humanity. That is the spear I carried, and it is the legacy I leave for you to wield in your own struggles for justice.